I'm going to start with a song that I wrote back in '98, which I think I've sung to you before. It's called Remember Our Heroes. It was written, as many things are that I do, when I get annoyed or outraged by some aspect of what's going on in the world. And it was the fact that it's fairly pertinent in 2 Sundays' time, in fact, a fortnight from today. We've got Memorial Sunday, where the servicemen and women who served us in both the world wars are respected and remembered. For many years, we didn't see any black or brown faces at the cenotaph when the Queen laid the wreath, at the sort of the statue. And so I wrote this called "Remember Our Heroes" to try and get people to be more aware of the fact that there are many more others than simply the Caucasians. And that is now the case. We do see brown and black faces, not because of my song, but because finally the MOD began to recognise that they weren't being very ecumenical. Of our heroes we should be proud, calling their names out loud. When the whole world had gone to war, Africans and Caribbeans helped even the score. The British government came and asked us to help the mother country, and many volunteered right away to rid this world of slavery. So remember our heroes who left homes and wives and journeyed to Europe just to fight for all our lives, to shake off our forefathers' shackles and gyves. Because of them, freedom survives. They were proud to don uniform and to face the eye of the storm. Boys too young would lie about their age, filled with keen and justified rage. The Caribbean regiments fought for freedom and future equality, and formed a bridgehead for generations to come, for both you and me. So remember our heroes who left homes and wives and journeyed to Europe just to fight for all our lives, to shake off our forefathers' shackles and gyves. Because of them, freedom survives. Many thousands left their home shores to assist in both the world wars. And if Hitler had had his way, there might be no black people today. The Ministry of Defense once sought to play down their contribution, but without them you could not call VE Day a true commemoration. So remember our heroes who left homes and wives and journeyed to Europe just to fight for all our lives, to shake off our forefathers' shackles and gyves. Because of them, freedom survives. Because of them, freedom survives. Remember our heroes. Thank you. I'm going to do a new song. When I say it's new, it's a couple of months old,
Thank
but it
you. That's
hasn't been
great.
gigged. That means I haven't sung it anywhere live yet. It's called Nursing the Nation. For those of you who don't know, I get quite a lot of commissions by people to write specific songs for specific things. And the Nubian Jack Academy asked me some time ago, I think it was in July. There's a book that's recently been released about the nurses of the NHS, the diasporic nurses of the NHS, the Africans, the African Caribbeans, the Indians, from all over. And remember that the Caribbean has a huge mix of cultures, particularly. There's a book about the called the Other Windrush. I think it's called the Other Windrush, and it's about all the people like the Guyanese and the Trinidadians, of whom there were many from the Indian subcontinent, and also the Chinese who came during indentureship. So this is called Nursing the Nation, and I've sung it once before on a forum like this. So, but I'm going to have to read it because I don't know the words yet. You have to sing something about 30 times before you really know them. So this is called Nursing the Nation, and there's a video of it on YouTube. I'll put that information into the chat afterwards so you can recheck it out. On the 5th of July in 1948, Britain opened the gate of the National Health Service for all citizens, with not enough locals to complete all the tasks. A British politician asks, should we recruit Africans, Asians and Caribbeans? William Beveridge started the idea back in 1942. A cradle-to-grave system which was more fair than what had been hitherto. Before the NHS, the people had to pay, even the poorest families. Sometimes the doctors would let them get away by paying with chicken or cheese. Nurses of the NHS, you really are the best, caring for those who need it, whether they are poor or wealthy. Heroes of the NHS, rarely taking a rest, stepping up, never giving up, no matter what situation. Working tirelessly night and day to keep nursing the nation. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Nurses of color at first were in short supply, dealing with patients that die of contagious diseases like TB. Adverts appeared for hospital auxiliaries, earning the lowest of fees, doing the Cinderella jobs that were so nasty. There were then two types of nursing grade, registered or enrolled. But for all the difference that it made, they still had to be bold. Some people could be very offensive as they were being cared for, but the nurses' patience was extensive. They carried on as before. Nurses of the NHS, you really are the best, caring for those who need it, whether they are poor or wealthy. Heroes of the NHS, rarely taking a rest, stepping up, never giving up, no matter what situation. Working tirelessly night and day to keep nursing the nation. Ba-da-ba-ba-dee, ba-da-ba-ba-da-da. Back in the 1960s there was a brain drain. The government tried in vain to keep their UK staff from going overseas, but many left Great Britain for the USA, where they could make their way. working for wealthy private companies. The NHS is the most diverse of British institutions. Every doctor, porter and nurse makes great contributions. In spite of that, to our dismay, some still want to cause strife, doing their worst to try to take away this British way of life. So, nurses of the NHS, you really are the best, caring for those who need it, whether they are poor or wealthy. Heroes of the NHS, rarely taking a rest, stepping up, never giving up, no matter what situation, working tirelessly night and day to keep nursing the nation. In the 2012 Olympics presentation, the Windrush generation was seen to be integral to the NHS. Of the 1.2 million working in this field, patients are being healed by 13% BAME with success. But these days in England and Wales, it's more like 40%. And with all that COVID now entails, it's the front line they represent. Some are working 20 hours or more in just a single day, but no one has any superpowers, and for their health we should pray. Nurses of the NHS, you really are the best, caring for those who need it, whether they are poor or wealthy. Heroes of the NHS,
Oh, internet letting us down.
situation, working tirelessly in the nation, stepping up, never give to what situation, hey, to keep nursing this nation. Nursing the nation.
Thank you again, Alex.
I'll put the link in the chat, and you can check it out again on YouTube. And now I'd like to pass over to a lovely lady who's sitting in my living room, hogging the best furniture and the nice picture on the wall. Who's my very talented poet wife, Wilhelmina.
I've been struggling with the light here. I don't know if anyone.
Hi, Will.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Wilhelmina. Hello. Wilhelmina, how you doing?
I'm fine, baby. How you doing, Yvonne? How you doing?
I'm all right, darling. You look lovely, though. But I need more light, Wilhelmina, man. I can't see you good.
I know. I've been fighting with the light. Hang on a minute. Let me just get my spotlight on.
Yeah, man, that front too pretty for that darkness.
I've got every lamp in the house on me. I don't know what's going on.
That's a bit better. That's a bit better. We can see now.
I feel as if I'm being interrogated.
No, man. No, you just look gorgeous. That's all.
You see, I thought, okay, I selected some poems that I'm going to share with you. I thought I'd take you on a voyage on my journey, and it's many of us's journey in this country. So I thought I'll talk you through it. Hold on a minute. Okay. I started off with the journey of my ancestors out of Africa. Okay, and it's going to be the journey out of Africa through the diaspora to this place where I am now. Okay, and the journey I'm taking you on. So I'll start off with a poem called 10 Summers, and it speaks for itself. 10 summers of softly scented oiled skin, 10 summers of skillfully plaited hair, 10 summers of creative, close-knit kin, 10 summers of gentle, loving care. My eyes open wide, the nightmare's the same, neck, ankle and wrist in shackles that bind. Their goal is to break, to taunt and to tame, for crushing the spirit, for taming the mind. What, where, when is this place that I'm in? This thick, wet darkness, this place of my doom. A deafening clamour, an unearthly din is heralding in a life filled with gloom, loaded with misery, pain, and cold fear, cries of terror and unbridled woe, couched in every tongue you can hear, rail at fate for this terrible blow, heaving amidst acrid, suffocating stench, no bladder, no bowel is able to hold, tossing and turning, but chained to my bench, another poor wretch destined to be sold. Sailors laugh at my screams, my struggles are weak, whilst splinters like daggers stab deep to my soul. I cry then for Mother, the earth, to bespeak of her love for this child, whose freedom they stole. 10 summers of feeling the whip on my skin, 10 summers of unloved, dull hair, 10 summers of tiny, lifeless kin, 10 summers being devoid of all care. That was my journey out of Africa. And I'm going to do another one for you where I've arrived in the Caribbean. This is the prose poem, and I've just called it Rain. And it's a prose poem because it's written in prose. This is me in my grandmother's house when I was small, very small, maybe about 4 years old, and I can just remember the rain. As I lay in the solid, sultry, steaming darkness, my eardrums were assailed by the mesmerizing tattoo of the Bel Air that was played on the defeated galvanized roof above my bed. Already, large drops of rain with practiced ease, like burglars in the night, had found their way onto my grateful, feverish skin. The slurping and belching of the beleaguered guttering mimicked the indecent digestion of a drunk giant. Just now he'll pum, I said to myself. And to my delight, a wondrously lusty booming shook the house. I giggled. He must have eaten onions, I thought. Onions always made me pum too. I wiped the sweaty rain from my face and wished once more that Grandmama would let us play in the rain. But not she. Children shouldn't be outside in the night. You didn't know what Jumbie might be lurking, or even worse, La Jablesse, the devil woman. As we were near a river mouth, in Dominica, most people live near a river mouth, there was always Mama Glo to lure us out to sea when they were swimming. Even worse, there was Sukuyan, who sucked the blood of her victims, or Lugawu, the shape changer, who could turn himself into a werewolf at night. I shivered. No, I didn't want to play in the night rain after all. I turned over onto my side. The cooling rivulet of raindrops had subsided, and I turned my soggy pillow, searching for a drier spot. The tattoo had become a mazouk, tamed now and fading into the wildness of the sea. The familiar lullaby of the relentless waves shushed me, and the gentle gurgle of the guttering reminded me that I needed to pee, but it would have to wait. I was already too sleepy. The first cock crowed. And I'm going to leave you with those two. So that's now, I am now in the Caribbean. So if Alex is there, I'll hand back to him. But if not, I'll do another one. Are you there, oh husband of mine? Oh no, he's not there.
I'm here, wife of
Are you
mine.
there?
I had to get a set of headphones because we're creating an echo between our two computers being a room apart.
Should I do another, or do you want to do a song?
You could do another one if you want. I'm almost ready.
I can do another.
Do another one if you want. Yeah.
So my next one is called, where are you? It's called, there we go. This is also in the Caribbean. I'm a little older, and we're preparing to come to England. And this is called The Sound of Colour. It was the sound of colour, the colours of my dreams, turquoise and emerald green waves, and the blue of the Caribbean sky, vivid and welcoming from the moment it greeted you as you stepped out to meet the day. It was the sound of my grandparents, their voices both measured, unhurried, of teasing and good humour, full of tickles, piggybacks, and hand-clapping games. It was the sound of long walks and short legs, of running to keep up, and of sleepy heads nodding on tall shoulders. It was the sound of small heads wearing Grandpapa Wiley's hat to keep the sun off, and Grandmama's voluminous dress that she wore with the hem tucked up into her waistband. Tiny plaits on the little tiny head, and Grandmama's handiwork. It was the shh of the waves as they lulled me to sleep, and the dub-dub, dub-dub, dub-dub of the rainy season skybursts cascading over the roof. It was the drunken gutters filled to overflowing, belching and gurgling as they emptied themselves down the tin furrows. It was the sound of the occasional drip in its teasing coolness that found its way onto my feverish skin as I lay in bed. It was the sound of my first Notting Hill Carnival in monochrome London. And now we have arrived in London. And there's a theme going all the way through it. You'll have noticed the theme. The theme is always water. And I'm going to hand over to Alex now.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you very
Wilhelmina.
much.
And
Okay. Yeah, go on,
think we-
Thanks,
Mary.
Will.
yeah. Whoa, that's quite an echo.
Sorry.
But yeah, that's okay. I think we spoke earlier, Alex, didn't we? And we wanted the group to know that we did lose a colleague, a member, and a mentor as well last week on Sunday.
Yes, we've lost several,
Um,
and you did. Yeah, please
yeah.
talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so Denzel Nurse was somebody who helped us when we first started. He's been a hero in Huddersfield basically, because he's looked
Yes.
after a lot of health issues, and I know there's people who knew him as a lot better than I did in the room. But it was a good inspiration for us when we first started, and he looked after health concerns like diabetes, and he was a good community activist. So basically, one of the songs that Alex is going to sing for us the next song is a tribute to him, and all the others that have been lost this year and in recent times to one thing. But Denzel was the man on picture now, so those that remember him from our meetings and elsewhere. So Carl, do you want to say anything, or you don't have to? I'm not putting you on the spot, but I know you knew him for many years as well.
I met him and Carl together the first time.
Yes,
Do you remember Carl?
one could say we are like brothers. I met him in 2002 when the Honey's Diabetic Support Group was formed, and we have been together ever since. He as chairperson of the group, and I actually vice chair, and we have taken the group to where it is now. But unfortunately, I did see him probably the week before, because we sat there talking and so forth, and he said to me, "I'm not really feeling well, you know." And then I said, "Well, well, you always bounce back, you know." So I got, great faith that he would bounce back, because I used to say to him, "Well, you is Moses and I is Joshua," you know. So seemed like he leave Joshua to take the disciples across the Jordan. Anyway, he will be very missed, and but not forgotten. Not forgotten.
Wow.
So
Definitely not.
yeah, so the funeral is on the 26th.
26th of November, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, 26th of November. In fact, I'm right.
Yeah.
26th November. Is
Yeah.
it which church? Do you know where?
It's cremation.
He's
Cremation.
having a service at the church first. Reverend Brown, do you want to come in with the details on that, please?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Can't get on.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Can't get on. I can't get on.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear your voice if you want. Ah, there we go.
Oh, it's blocked off.
Oh, it's okay now. It's all on. It's all
Can't
on,
get
Reverend.
on.
It's okay. We can see you and hear you now.
Maybe he can't hear us.
Yeah, that's possibly it.
Yeah, maybe he can't hear us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So what it is they're having a service at the church first. And what church is it, Mark? Is it the Pentecostal?
The only way I remember it is Great Northern Street Church. So, yeah.
So yeah, they're having a service up there, and then they're going up to the Creme.
All right, Great Northern.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure we'll get Reverend to speak after. Go ahead if you can. If you want to join in now, Reverend, do dive in.
When I can, I can't get on.
Okay. All right. We'll bring Reverend in afterwards if that's
Yes,
okay
I can.
with everyone.
I can't get on.
All right. We'll bring you in afterwards then, Reverend. And Alex, if you want to sing the song sometimes, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. This was those of you who may not know. There's a group called the Ubele Initiative, which is dedicated to easing the agonies of bereavement. They're quite a large organisation, and they do something called You Give Hope, which they did all through the diaspora, all through the epidemic, certainly for the 12 months from March to March of last year to March of this year, and then continued, and they had an event a couple of nights back again, now and again. But they commissioned me to say, can you write us a song about our group for bereavement? And this is the song. It's called Sometimes. It's so hard to grieve in isolation when the climb before us looks immense, whether partner, close friend or relation, loneliness can feel much more intense as more of us struggle with bereavements. We can't let this virus get control. Oh no, take time off to cherish our achievements, letting precious memories fill your soul. Sometimes we hurt so much, sometimes we feel their touch, sometimes we are hostile, sometimes we want to smile, sometimes we have to scream, sometimes we're in a dream, sometimes we rise above, sometimes we just feel love, sometimes. Special days are when these things most matter. Diwali, Christmas, Pesach, Ramadan. Help is there for us before we shatter, whether we are child, woman or man. Suffering in silence can't resolve it, locking up the pain we're going through. Oh, peer groups are there who may help to solve it, reaching out is what we need to do. Sometimes we hurt so much. Sometimes we feel their touch. Sometimes we are hostile. Sometimes we want to smile. Sometimes we have to scream. Sometimes we're in a dream. Sometimes we rise above. Sometimes we just feel love. Sometimes. Sometimes we may think our heart is healing. Other times we're sure it's going to crack. No one else can know just how we're feeling. Are we moving on or sliding back? Grief is like a basket full of sadness, filled with stories of a loving past. Oh yes, telling them again can bring us gladness and ensure our memories will last. Sometimes we hurt so much. Sometimes we feel their touch. Sometimes we are hostile. Sometimes we want to smile. Sometimes we have to scream. Sometimes we're in a dream. Sometimes we rise above. Sometimes we just feel love. Sometimes. There you go. That's
Thank
sometimes.
you.
Oops, I must put my headphone fell out while I was singing, but never mind. Doesn't matter. It was just to
No, that was
hear all
lovely.
of you. You like that?
Thank you,
Shall I do another
Alex.
song or should we have another poem?
It's
Oh, I'm
Another
going to do another
song.
song. Well
another
prepared.
song.
Hello?
Yeah.
This
Let's
is a
have
song
another
called
one.
And then-
Amandla Mandela. Amandla means victory. Amandla Mandela Nkosi Sikilel I Africa. Victory Mandela. God bless Africa.
Africa.
God bless Africa. The Queen of England has met with Nelson Mandela. They shook hands together to signify there's a change in the weather. This man spent a third of his life in a cellar with stale food and water, while South Africa was a welter of slaughter. Nelson, when you came before, they make you stand by the door. Now that you have come so far, well, they treating you like a star. But Nelson, with all that they do, there is no bitterness in you. You keep your faith with who you are. Nkosi Sikileli Africa, Amandla Mandela. Nkosi Sikileli Africa, Amandla Mandela. Nkosi Sikileli Africa, Amandla Mandela. Nkosi Sikileli Africa. Apartheid had torn the fabric of life asunder. It couldn't last much longer, with all the factions fighting to see who is stronger. They then realized they'd made a blunder. They at the end of their tether. Women of Soweto, you could sew it together. Nelson, when you came before, they make you stand by the door. Now that you have come so far, they're treating you like a star. But Nelson, with all that they do, there is no bitterness in you. You keep your faith with who you are, because it's Ikileli Africa. Amanda Mandela, because it's Ikileli Africa. Amanda Mandela, because it's Ikileli Africa. Amanda Mandela, because it's Ikileli Africa. He plumbed the depths of despair, but conquered the feeling with all their deceiving. He just sat it out and kept right on believing South Africa's time would soon come for healing. And more than any other, people think of him as a friend and a brother. Nelson, when you came before, they make you stand by the door. Now that you have come so far, they all treating you like a star. But Nelson, with all that they do, there is no bitterness in you. You keep your faith with who you are, because it's Ikileli Africa. Amanda Mandela, 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 because it's Ikileli Africa. Amanda Mandela. Thank you. I'm gonna put a link for Sometimes in the chat, because there's a video for Sometimes that Ubele did, a very moving video with some of the people whom they have helped in the video. So enjoy that. Over to the poet.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to this. Okay. Now the journey, the last bit of the journey was we just arrived in London, and that was my experience of Notting Hill, my very first Notting Hill. It probably was the first carnival as well, 64, 65. Okay, so now we're in London and we're living in a tenement. And our landlord was a criminal, yeah. And the lady downstairs had lots of male visitors. Let's put it like that. Okay, this is called Bomb Sites Blues, because we played on the bomb site across the road. That's how old I am, folks, yeah? Okay. Sturdy brown knees adorned with weeping roses, their petals laced with grit, shiny and sharp as knives, causing hissing breaths of pain, but soon forgotten. Bomb site blues, blue fingers with rosy tips, chilblains waiting to erupt. Kiss chase through King Solomon's mines, journeys into space, or riding with the Lone Ranger. Rusted three-wheel prams, their babies raising children now. A trusty charger, or a rescue rocket. Drunken paraffin heaters thirsting for Esso Blue, discarded, alien sentinels. Slip sliding on black ice, slithering on its spiteful surface, in black plimsolled feet, elastic gussets pinching skin, landing in flesh cringingly cold puddles, creating wet bottoms, wet knickers, derisive laughter. Railway paraphernalia strewn from a giant's hand, the dinky toys of an angry child. Murky holes filled with black, greasy water of mysterious depth, some only ankle deep, others unfathomable, hiding horrors. Another dress torn, the handiwork of malicious barbed wire, What will Mama say? Goalposts, either scavenged from the driftwood of a sunken ship, door frames, nails still embedded, or someone's grotty toilet, the pan indescribable, but usually just rolled up coats, the smallest in goal. I hated it. Shiny conkers on strings, bruised knuckles. Ow! Orange squash served with white bread and lumpy butter, wrapped in recycled greaseproof paper. Smacked lips. Cops and robbers next. Thank you. That was Bomb Site Blues.
Thank you,
And the
Wilhelmina.
next one, and it gets worse after this, I'm afraid. The next one is called, let me just get it up for you. The next one is called The English Way. And it's a result of years of racism as a child. And it's not like the racism you get now, where you're not sure, was that racist or not? The experiences of my childhood, you know it was racist because it was right in your face. People weren't ashamed to be racist back in those days. So this is called The English Way. I have a visitor. Hold on a minute. No. No. Okay, hold on a minute. He wants to say hello.
It's usually a dog, isn't it, Corinne? So we're doing all right tonight if it's a cat for a
Okay.
change.
The English Way. You want to come and sit with me while I read? Yeah? Okay, stay there. Okay. Stiff legs, stiff back, stiff upper lip, and all that. Keep it in. Keep it hidden. Keep it under wraps, old chap. Try not to bleed grief on the carpet. Bandage the wound, gaping though it is, with a band-aid. Don't buckle under your sorrow. Resist the pain. Breathe deeply. Time brings healing, they say. Empty words, when empty time is all you have left. Isn't it, babe? See you later. That's the English way. And we're going to round that bit off with, and you can see how much I hate being in this country at this point. By this time, I hate it here so much. I didn't want to come, they brought me. By this time, I'm feeling like this. And this is called This Ground. This ground, the ground we stand on, is not my ground. Not the ground where my seed was planted. This brown earth, though rich looking and heavy with the bones of its children, knows me not. An unwilling foster child, thrust upon its graciousness, foisted on its good nature, a nuisance to be endured. And I, transplanted with no roots to speak of, must suckle from the breast of this reluctant mother and take care that I am not suffocated in her spite. So you see, I am not enjoying my time in England at all. Another song, Alex, or shall I go on? You can do another song.
You're on mute there, Alex.
Okay, I can hear him.
Ah. Oh.
I'm now unmuted now. I couldn't find the button because I'd moved the thing aside to put the thing into the YouTube link. All right. Yeah. Here's a song. Songs take whatever it takes to write them. They can be any length and they can take any length of time to write. Just for an example of an extreme example, Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. He played with that song for 20 years.
Whoa.
Before he settled down onto the amount of he wrote hundreds of verses anyway, till he settled down on the something like, I think he does a version with about 8 verses now, but he tinkered with it and tinkered with it. It's a fantastic song. Everyone knows it and loves it, but it took him a long time. Some of my songs to take, Windrush took about, I don't know, 3 months, maybe longer, before I've sorted it out the way I wanted it. Various other songs, Haiti was 3 months, I think. A song I have called Since Kelso Cochrane Died took maybe longer than that. I had 3 different choruses for it before I settled on the one I wanted, and I kept picking away at it. Anyway, this song I'm going to do now took me the shortest time ever to write. I was sitting up 4 years ago watching a late night film on TV about 1:30 in the morning. It finished. I switched to the news just to see what was going on, as you do, and there was the fire. I don't have to tell you any more about the fire. It was the fire that everyone knows about. And I stayed glued to the TV, got more and more upset. Eventually woke Will up, I think at 5 or 6 in the morning with a cup of tea and said, you should come and see what the news is doing. And at 12 o'clock that day or thereabouts, it was lunchtime, I wrote this song, and it took me 2 hours. There's just 2 verses to it. It's the shortest time it's ever taken me to write the song. It just all came out in one go, and it was done and dusted. Here it is. It's called Forever You'll Be Blessed. Grenfell Tower's a tragedy, waiting for the world to see, and the warnings have been made for many years. People died in fearful flames, and we don't know all their names, but the whole community is now in tears. Pray for mothers, pray for babies, pray for all whose cries are in our ears. We never will forget you, you're part of our lives. We love you and respect you, your memory survives. We pray that peace has found you, your soul is now at rest. Our love is all around you, forever you'll be blessed. Overlooked, not listened to, people just like me and you had complained that safety standards were not met. From the north, the south, the east, we are mourning those deceased, but our sorrows tinged with anger and regret. Pray for loved ones, pray for strangers, pray for all, while all our eyes are wet. We never will forget you, you're part of our lives. We love you and respect you, your memory survives. We pray that peace has found you, your soul is now at rest. Our love is all around you, forever you'll be blessed. Forever you'll be blessed. Forever you'll be blessed.
Thank you, Alex.
Lovely,
you.
Alex.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've done that with using strings on the album. I've got an album which Mark can tell you about in a bit.
Yeah.
But I'm very pleased with the arrangement I did, because normally with Calypso you use brass, use trumpet, sax and things like that, and I decided to use strings instead. Called in some favours from violinists and cellist friends of mine. I'll do another one. This is called
Lovely. That's a
Russell
nice tribute
Henderson,
to the Grenfell
All the Way to the Pan Man. Now
disaster.
Russell Henderson was a pan player, played steel pan, but he was also a great jazz pianist. He was a friend of my mother's and my mother's brothers, so he came over when I was born in Trinidad, at my grandfather's house. Russell remembers me as a small boy, as a toddler. He used to come over and play football with my uncles and so on. And later on, when my parents moved here with me, when I was a toddler, Russell came about a year later, and he became an iconic figure on the steel pan scene. Ran a famous trio, and he also is. He didn't start the Notting Hill Carnival, but the precursor to it, the year in '65, when there was a little party going on at a children's free school, very near Power. Well, it was just off Powis Square, where we have the headquarters of Notting Hill, and he decided to make a turn round the block with the trio playing some pan, and a small crowd of 350 or so people followed them round, and people say that was the precursor of the idea for having a carnival parade down in London. Anyway, he went on to become very, very respected in the jazz world as well as in the pan world, and he sadly passed away in 2015. This is a tribute song I wrote with a wonderful pan player and singer and songwriter called Debbie Eden, Pan Diva. We wrote it in 2 days, and it's called Russell Henderson, Always the Pan Man. Again, it can be found on YouTube. If you put in Russell Henderson, Always the Pan Man, there's a really nice black and white video of us performing it in the studio, Debbie and me. Okay. Russell Henderson was such a magnificent man. He'd teach anyone who wanted to be a musician. Piano was his forte, and he excelled in playing jazz on Kitsch's beat.
We're gonna push through this one.
Piano, you were the man. Jamming the Lego, ho ho! Play your pan, Russell Henderson. Play your pan, play your pan. Oh God, you must play your pan with your dedication and inspiration. Russell Henderson, always the pan man. Bing, 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 bong, 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 bing, bing. Bang, da, 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 bong, 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 bing, bing, bing. That iconic day in the midst of real adversity, your trio start to play sweet pan at a children's party. As they hear the music, all the people moving their feet. And when you ramage round the block, they followed you down the street. So play your pan, play your piano. You were the man, always jamming the Lego. Oh, oh. Play your pan, go on Russell, play your pan. Play your pan, let me hear you play your pan. With your dedication and inspiration, Russell Henderson, always the pan man. Bring pong 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 ding dong, bring bong 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 ding ding bong ding bong bong dong dong bong bong. You brought unity to the UK's pan evolution. This community must honor your contribution. Now you're jamming with Bradley in the big pan yard in the sky. You are part of our history, which nobody can deny. So play your pan, you must play your piano. You were the man, we could hear jamming the Lego. Oh, oh. Play your pan, go on Russell, play your pan. Play your pan, Mr. Henderson, play your pan. With your dedication and inspiration, Russell Henderson, always the pan man. With your dedication and inspiration, Russell Henderson, always the pan. There he is,
Brilliant.
Russell Henderson, always.
And as we say, there's always a CD that you can purchase without with the internet connection problems there. Let us know. We'll get it delivered to you. It's £6. It'd make a great gift for anyone who likes Calypso and for those who don't know about Calypso. So if I've missed anything, Alexander, let me know. But it is full backing band and yourself as well, isn't it?
Yes, there's all sorts of songs.
And
some
sorry,
of the songs are
Wilhelmina.
just acoustic, some are just with guitar.
Yeah.
Some are just with guitar. What's the laughter for, Will?
I'm saying that I'm featured also on some of the
Oh, I
albums.
see. You mean I had a girl dancer on stage with me?
The Will.
That's a new trend.
Was it Will?
No,
Will?
Yeah. There are some songs with band on it. Some have a small band, like just guitar, piano, and bass and drums. Some have with brass. As I say, one with strings.
A couple even has pan.
Well, there's pan on. Actually, there's pan on. Forever You'll Be Blessed, the Grenfell song. There's pan on there. There's pan on Russell Henderson. What else did you play pan on? You played pan on something else. Anyway, there's all sorts. There's a song called Unsung Heroes about all the people that we never know about. Debbie, the lady I told you about who wrote Russell Henderson with me, she said, you know what? We always wait for people to pass before we write songs in tribute. Isn't it time we gave them a tribute while they're still alive? I said, great idea. So he wrote a song called Unsung Heroes, and it mentions many of the people. In our case, it was the Notting Hill people who nobody knows about behind the scenes, but do all the wonderful work they do. One is Sister Monica. She's in her 80s now. She's a nun, a lay nun, who has done so much for Children's Carnival over the years, and she really has supported it in the development of Children's Carnival. And there are many people in the same way. And you wouldn't believe this, just to make, I'm going to tell Will, there is a black body who's just pulled open the cupboard with his foot in the kitchen where his food is kept. And he's looking at me, making meaningful eye contact, going, where's my food? He's a greedy boy. He's been fed, but he's trying it on. I'm looking at him straight there. No, you're not having anything, cat. So,
well,
oh boy.
We did have a question though, Alexander. It's about whether somebody in the US could download the album. Is that possible?
Could download which?
Yeah, somebody in the US.
No, I'm sorry. I have to tell you, no, the album. I'm quite happy if they want to send me an email with their address. I'll send them a copy. The reason being, for those of you who don't know, it is now impossible to make any money from things. YouTube pays 0.003 pence per play. So in order to 1,000 plays on YouTube earns me 30 pence. I refuse to do it. I've got one. There are some things you can get. I've got one album which I did called After the Windrush, which was done in 2015, and it was on Spotify. It was actually, I put it on iTunes, and within 3 hours, an advert came up saying, join Spotify, $7.99 a month, and get this album for free. And I said, what? I mean, it hadn't been up 3 hours. So I thought, hang on a minute, I'm not filling these people's pockets. And I know do you know, folks, there are 2 million recordings released every month. 2 million records come out, or 2 million recordings come out on Spotify every month. And the big ones, the big stars, the Jay-Z's and so on, they make their money. But you can only get my stuff, or certainly the latest album is only available as an album. It's normally £10. I'm reducing it for Christmas to £6, including postage and packing, which Mark has very kindly agreed to take the orders. But in the case of the US, I will send a copy to that person. I can take payments on PayPal as well. So in this particular instance, I will send the album. In fact, afterwards, if you get in touch with Mark, he will give you an email address for me, so you can get in touch. So, what are you doing?
Excuse me. What's your name? What's your name again?
Alexander.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Alexander D. Great. It's the letter D. Don't put in the. If you put in Alexander the Great, You get the Macedonian emperor from 2,300 years ago who mashed up the rest of the world, okay? You don't get me, so you have to put in D grade.
Hey, listen, I was wondering, there are some places where you can put your songs, and you
No,
can.
I know that. No, I know that. Yeah, there's things like Bandcamp. My daughter's on there, and there's various friends of mine. I know this,
SoundCloud
but
as well. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud. Well, on SoundCloud, yeah. SoundCloud is free, though. People just play your stuff on SoundCloud. The best way I find, I mean, and also with
No,
the
if
greatest
if you pay for it, if you pay for SoundCloud, then you
Sorry?
can. If you pay for sound, you could pay. You can pay.
You can ask. Yes, you can. It's true. And I've actually got some things on SoundCloud, but I don't think anything of this album. The album, some of the songs. I mean, 4 of the songs I did tonight are on this album. Russell Henderson, Mandela, Forever Blessed, and Remember Our Heroes are all part of the album. There are other things on it, but also I'm a bit old school. I like albums because I can hold them in my hand. You know, I know people. My wife has lots of things on her phone, bless her. And when we go on trips and things, she can play stuff back in the car on her phone, and that's great. But I just find that my generation, we old people, we like CDs. We like to be able to look at a picture of something, read the titles. Who wrote this? Oh, someone's playing trumpet on track 11. Who's that? Oh, I know this. All of that. All of those things, which I know you can do. I'm a bit sort of, I'm not a technophobe, but I haven't got the time. I write the songs, I record the songs, I put out CDs, and some of my stuff you can get on Spotify. Also, I've got stuff on YouTube. If you want to click on, you know, the ones I did tonight, some of them, the Nurses song, I put it on YouTube on purpose for people to be able to access it, because with YouTube they come with videos, and I've got a great friend, a lady who puts the videos together for me. She chooses really good images to run with them. So if you put Alexander D. Great in on YouTube, there are quite a few things on there that you can access of my stuff. But in this particular case, for this album, it's available just as a CD for the moment.
It's a lot harder
I'm going to have one for my daddy, definitely,
That's
because
it.
I think he'd love that.
Okay, my pleasure. We'll go through Mark, because Mark knows all of you, and he's very, very kindly agreed to coordinate it. So I will just send him all the albums as required, and he will then get them out to you, to your various addresses, which is very efficient of them. You see, Mark's a young person. He's with the program. He's got it together. We old people have to use young people's expertise to get our ideas across. And it's a partnership between the young and the old. And I welcome it. Thank you.
Thanks for calling me young as well. Last time I was called young, I was wearing school uniform, so I'll take that. That'll do.
You look as young as my son, who you didn't see earlier. He's 20 years old. He came walking through.
20, you see, I'm getting younger. What's that film called? But yeah, I'm gonna say it's a lot harder to wrap up a download and put it under the tree and give it as a gift or a birthday gift. So it's nice to have that physical contact. I know what you mean. Yeah. So we normally have a after hours session, so you're more than welcome to stay unless there's other poems or songs you want to sing, but we talk about everything and anything.
How about Will does another poem or two and I do Windrush to finish with?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Another minute, please.
Reverend,
yeah.
Are we having internet problems or is it just me again? I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry about the first time I was trying, but it was just the whole thing just knocked off. I have to turn off the whole system and start again. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you, but your picture's frozen. So if you want to switch your camera off, it might make it a little bit more stable. If you switch the video off and just have your voice on, that definitely helps.
Okay.
Yeah, and then switch it back on, obviously, when you. Yeah. Oh, I said the wrong. Try now, then, Reverend.
Oh, still go off. Yes. What I would say, yes, it was very interesting listening to the speaker and what he was saying. It's a very wide area and very important. Also, Alexander, you remind me of Cy Grant. I don't know.
Ah,
The younger one won't know Cy Grant, but Cy Grant was the guy who used to play calypso songs for the cricketers when they come to England. He sing calypso songs for them, and you remind me of
yes.
them. You're doing a good job there. Yes,
Thank you.
concerning Denzel. Yes, Denzel. The word I would use for Denzel, Denzel was an ambassador for Huddersfield. I wouldn't even say Kirklees, I would say Huddersfield. Because as
Uh-huh.
you know, Huddersfield was 25 miles radius before they turned it into Kirklees. And he done a great job here. He'll be sadly missed. However, the service will be the 26th of next month, and it will be 10:15 at the New Testament Church in Huddersfield, and it will be and it will be 12 o'clock at the crematorium.
Thank you.
Thanks, Reverend.
And
Thank you.
yeah, yes, for what it's worth, I know there's a lot of people in Huddersfield who tried, but when it comes to Denzel, he never know the word no. He always helping people. And I was told that even the week when he was ill, before that he was still there trying to get funds to help other people in the community. That was the kind of friend that he was. So he'll be sadly missed, but I think it would be good to celebrate him in a powerful way. Also, I believe, I don't know if his son said, but I think what they would love, if instead of having a book that you're writing, as a condolences, if you send it an email or WhatsApp and so on, then he could use sometime, like, however, tonight was very interesting. The speaker, done a very good job, and it's a wide area, but it's telling us that we need to work together. That's the only time that we can achieve what need to be achieved, is working together. Don't think of
Uh-huh.
what you can get out of it, but think of what you can give into it. That's the important thing.
Yeah, I agree, Reverend Brown.
Definitely.
Thanks,
I
Reverend.
agree. It's a collective thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely collective.
Yes,
Okay.
it is. It is. Yes.
Okay.
I've been from 1965. I've been active in Huddersfield, uh,
Mm.
in the community, and the result of it, a lot of things happen, including the Carib Care, which is like non-existent now. But those who started, and who is it? Denzel spent a long time in there with the honey. I think for people so from diabetes, he done a lot of work there, and
Ah,
I think the only building in Huddersfield now that anyone could say we're still having is Bradley Court, where it's a place where it's a tenant for Methodist Home, where black and white are there. It is purposely built, and in this town, who went to the council and say that there are many West Indians who they do not want to go back to the West Indies because they have family here, but they have their home and they are a bit lonely. And the council said, no, no, there's nothing like that. And we have to prove it. And when we prove it, that's the result of it. So there's a lot of things that happen, but there's a lot more that could be done.
yeah, I
Agreed.
agree.
Mm. Thanks, Reverend. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Sorry,
so
Brown.
go on, Una, say what you're saying.
No, I just said thanks, Reverend Brown.
Yeah, yeah.
You're welcome there. You're welcome. Yeah, yeah.
So, did we agree? I think we were going to move on to the after hours, or did someone say Alexander was going to do
No,
the Windrush song? Yeah,
another poem and the
yeah,
Windrush song to
Yeah.
yeah.
end.
Okay, over to the lady for the
When you're
poem.
ready, Wilhelmina. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I'm just going to go. I was going to do this one, but I'm just going to go straight to my favorite. I think. Yeah, because this is my favorite. In fact, yeah. This is called "This You Will Treasure." Okay, and I wrote this because once I actually looked at my hand, you know, when you're washing up and you're drying your hands, and I saw my mum's hand. And my heart nearly skipped a beat. My mum passed away 20 years ago. And I got a real shock because I saw my mum's hands. And they were actually my hands, but they looked just like my mum's. And I thought, my goodness, I've actually got my mum's hands. I wonder what else of my mum's that I've got, you know, that I've inherited of hers. So I call this poem, This You Will Treasure. This, I treasure my hands because they remind me of my mum. Yours to inherit are my funny hairline with its vampirish slick back on either side, the little mole beside my nose, and the way the corners of my eyes crinkle when I smile. This you will treasure when you look in the mirror. Yours to inherit are my soft-heartedness, the way that I cry even at playful kittens, and how watching the spring lambs frolic induces me to tears. How listening to music can cause me to weep, or my waist to rock, or a full-on whine. That weirdly wonderful sense of humour that leaves you shaking your head at your daft parent, who embarrasses you sometimes. Yours to inherit is the propensity to collect knickknacks. Yes, those same that I swore I'd never do. I leave to you too. Feather dusters, chamois leather, dusting cloths and polish. This dusty madness should continue. Let's perpetuate the joke. Catching sight of your hands, and for a moment seeing mine, age-spotted and thin-skinned, and longing for just one more touch, even to tuck in a label. Yours to inherit are the weight of all those voices. As they harmonize your name, my voice will join their chorus. My medium djembe drum, to call and to awaken, stands, waiting for your hands. The crucifix of nails from Coventry Cathedral, the empty photo frame, Florida water and alkalido, white doilies from your grandmother's trunk, the beginnings of your shrine, the rum I drank, you'll have to buy your own. And that's my last one. Thank you.
Thank you,
I'll
Wilhelmina.
have to buy my own rum now. Okay. So this is called They Came Upon the Windrush. I don't pull any punches with this song. There was an organisation, I just have to tell you, there's an organisation in Berkshire, Caribbean organisation, that asked me to come and film. They spent a morning filming people in their community, and they wanted me to come and sing this song, Windrush song. I did it, and then I didn't hear from them for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they sent me a little clip of something they'd done using my song, and all they'd used were a few lines here and there, the inoffensive lines. They were scared to use, as you'll hear in some of the verses, I don't pull any punches, I don't use any bad language, but I just tell the truth. And they were not prepared to use it, so I thought, goodness me, they're
Is he going to come back? I wonder. There we go.
This is on Spotify and iTunes and all the other things. So if you subscribe to any of those, you know, they're all available to you to listen to again. They Came Upon the Windrush. It might just be down as the word Windrush when you look it up. But anyway, it's Alexander the Great and Windrush. Here I go. Windrush set sail from the Caribbean for Britain. 500 on board, coming to seek work, among them ex-RAF servicemen. The fare was only whole heap of money way back then. On the 22nd of June, the ship docked at Tilbury, to the discomfort of the government, led by Clement Attlee. They came upon the Windrush in 48. The flame of hope in their hearts, whatever fate. A few who formed the vanguard came through, although the doors barred. It's true that most found it hard, but survivors always find a way. They came a part of the great diaspora, to claim our right to be part of what we all are. This land so fit for heroes must hand the laurels to those whose stand, as history shows, built multicultural Britain today. These were not the first. Thousands came before to put in their bid for democracy. Many of them died doing their duty to ensure that Britain could remain free. On the Windrush, they thought they were British citizens, until they felt the iron fists in the velvet mittens. No longer required, citizens soon became immigrants, which Mosley and Powell used to fuel ignorance. They came upon the Windrush in 48. The flame of hope in their hearts, whatever fate. A few who formed the vanguard came through, although the doors barred. It's true that most found it hard, but survivors always find a way. They came a part of the great diaspora, to claim our right to be part of what we all are. This land so fit for heroes must hand the laurels to those whose stand, as history shows, built multicultural Britain today. The living was hard all through the 50s. Some people even believed we had tails. Then down the decades, you could read about the riots, visa laws, school suspensions and jails. But Linton, Bob and Jazzy Soul to Soul could soothe we hearts while we reaching for we goal. With high presence now in the media and some black MPs, this next generation is getting there by degrees. They came upon the Windrush in 48. The flame of hope in their hearts, whatever fate. A few who formed the vanguard came through, although the doors barred. It's true that most found it hard, but survivors always find a way. They came a part of the great diaspora, to claim our right to be part of what we all are. This land so fit for heroes must hand the laurels to those whose stand, as history shows, built multicultural Britain today. Plenty time has passed, many things have changed. Some might feel we lead in fashion and sport, but make no mistake, some still find we strange. Plenty battles out there still to be fought. This world we share, it belongs to all are we. We must take care to respect multiplicity. Survivors of Windrush know that in love and war all is fair. The empire has crumbled, there's only Commonwealth left to share. They came upon the Windrush in 48. The flame of hope in their hearts, whatever of fate. A few who formed the vanguard came through, although the doors barred. It's true that most found it hard, but survivors always find a way. They came a part of the great diaspora to claim our right to be part of what we are. This land so fit for heroes must hand the laurels to those who stand, as history shows, built multicultural Britain today. Windrush.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Alexander. Thank you. Thank you,
you.
everyone
Thank
who
you,
attended.
Alex.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Marina.
Pick up
Thank you,
yourself.
Alexander.
Nice.
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. We are provisionally trying to get an event planned for Windrush in 2022, and Alexander will be one of the featured artists. All being well, fingers crossed. Everything goes the way we want it to. So
You
yeah,
got plenty.
nice.
You got plenty road march there, Alexander.